Hey everyone, it's Chris from Smithy Finance, and this is your midday market report for March 25th. So we've got kind of a quiet market today. New York is down 30 points, the Nasdaq's up 30, Toronto's up 90. We are having a good move in the metals. Gold up 11 bucks, silver up 73 cents. We're back over 34. It's sort of been back and forth, 32 and a half to 34 and a half the last week or two. Let's see if we'll see that 35 finally, and then a shot up from there. Copper, holy cow, copper up 12 cents today. That takes us to 520 if that per pound. If that's not the highest of all time, it's within a whisker, and that should be helping all the miners out there. So look, we've had a good run right after the very bottom, the ugliness of a couple of weeks ago. We've had some big moves higher, and my job and your job as a trader is to buy the crash, to buy the dip, but it's also your job to sell the recovery rally or to sell the rip. Buy the dip, sell the rip. It's our job. And so I have been selling a fair bit, again, around the edges, not my core position, but when the market is crashing, I'm adding, and when it recovers, I'm selling, but I still have, more or less a big position in the stocks that I like. And, let's talk about crypto. Not crypto, let's talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is currently at 88,000. Now, the lowest it hit was maybe 77 and a half, 78, only for an instant. Mostly it was 79 or 80,000 was the bottom. But if we say 77 and a half was the bottom, it's up about 10,000 from the bottom, which is only 13 or 14% up. But if you look at MicroStrategy, or now known as Strategy, it hit 235, 233, something in there. And this morning I sold a little bit at 340. So from 235 to 340, that's $105 on a 220, 235 base. It's a 40% move or 42% move. And that is because it got oversold. That shrunk the premium of its valuation over its Bitcoin holdings had come down from 2x or 2.5x to, I don't know, did it hit 1.6 or 1.7? It deserves to trade at a big premium, in my opinion, and I think that premium will expand over time. So that was a real chance. I did buy some down there, and we talked about it, guys. I mentioned it a few times. It takes courage to buy it down there, but it's your job. And if you weren't able to buy, or you didn't buy much, remember for next time, because there will be more pullbacks, there will be more crashes. You will still feel that uncomfort in your gut when things are going down. It hurts. You're seeing on paper your losses. But you have to have the courage of your convictions to go in and do some buying. It doesn't have to be huge, but you need to do some buying. A lot of stocks are up 20, 25%, whether it's, Aya or Ivanhoe, or even my Reddit, which is still not acting great, but even that's up 15% or so from the bottom. And if you didn't have the courage to buy Strategy, the MicroStrategy, you could have bought iBit or eBit and made a fairly easy 15% and relatively stress-free. I do believe, somebody asked me about Bitcoin the other day. I do believe we are going to have a good year on it. I'm hearing the Chinese government is going to start buying some Bitcoin for their strategic reserve. I don't know how true that is. But the U.S. will be doing it. It's going to take a little time to get all the I's dotted and the T's crossed of their legislation. But you can expect to see that happen at some point. And, here we are sitting at 88. We'll go back through the old high, which was 108 and probably 140, 150. And, in my guess, all right, it's just a guess. It's one man's opinion. I'm not telling you to do anything. But if we do see Bitcoin go to 140, 150, how high will Strategy go? So Bitcoin's up 50%, strategy's got to be up 100%. So that takes us to 700. Own a little. Okay, my advice to myself and to my friends is you should own a little, 1%, 3%, 5% of your net worth, which will be a higher percentage, obviously, of your trading account. So there you go. That's that. Now, we like to find those stocks that are really out of favor, that have sewered, but have still got a good story to them, or a good future to them. I shouldn't say a good story, because the short-term story is probably ugly. I talked about lithium a couple of times, Lithium Bank, which I first mentioned on here at 22 cents, and then I mentioned it again last week or so at 37 cents, and here it is at 40 or 41 or 42, in that range somewhere. But I was doing a little work this weekend, as I do, and was digging into the lithium story. Listened to one guy who runs a lithium royalty company, Rob Weir. He says that lithium usage is growing 30% this year. The price of lithium has come down 80%. So the marginal mines, they're going away. This is what we need. We need to scrub some supply off, which is what low prices do, because no one can survive with the low prices. And at the same time, we're starting to see greater adoption of EVs. I know in China, I think EV sales were up 40%. They're very popular over there, and it looks as though they're going to continue to grow in such a way. So I think the demand for lithium was 1 million tons in 2024. We're expected to grow 30% this year to 1.3, and to there's my cat, and up to 2.8 million. And I've also heard guesstimates as high as 4.4 million by 2030. If we go as high as 4.4 million demand, that is the equivalent of having 65 more commercial scale lithium mines opening between now and then. And there's only 50 in the world right now. So there's no chance that that's going to happen, which means the price is going to rise, and maybe rise a lot. This is what we're looking for. No one's paying attention. It's bombed out. It's ugly. Even Lithium Bank at 40 cents or 42 cents is still a good buy. But you could look at Sigma Lithium, which is a Brazilian lithium producer. The stock was 50 or 60 bucks a couple of years ago. I added some all the way down to about 12 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. I ended up losing money on that trade. It did bounce a bit, and I sold some and took a loss. But here it is at 16.50 or 16.90 Canadian right now. I bought a little today, and over the next months I will add. And the thing about it is, buy a little bit so that you watch it. It's one thing to have it on your watch list, as well as 150 other stocks, but it's another thing to actually own some. You'll read the press releases, you'll pay attention to the macro lithium situation, the supply demand, and you'll be there to add to your position over time as things start to go your way. So that's how I do it anyway. I like to own some of it, even if the immediate prospects are not great, which they aren't. They're still working through this surplus. But if we do grow 30% a year and we compound it for a few years, there's no way the supply can keep up. And we're going to get a situation like copper, where we were talking about this a few years ago. Copper prices were $3.50 or $3, and you can see the demand coming because there's electrification of everything, and you need more copper. But it takes time, and the price meandered but here we are at 520, and it was $3 or $2.50, and it was $4 a year ago, and it's probably going to be $6 next year, and these stocks are going to do great. So there you have it. That's my update for March 25th. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.